This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Hi, my name is Igor Kheifets, and this is The List Building Lifestyle, the only podcast which delivers cutting-edge conversion strategies from the online trenches straight to your earbuds. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. I also invite you to grab a free copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. And now, once again, it's time to claim your list building lifestyle.
You are listening to List Building Lifestyle. Welcome back to another action-packed episode with your man, fresh from the barber, Mr. Igor Kheifets.
Hey, Jonathan.
What's up, Igor? How you doing, man?
Not bad at all. Excited to kind of hit this topic that is a mystery to most marketers, although I feel it's their obligation and sacred duty to actually understand this kind of stuff. And of course, I'm talking about the prospect and the way the prospect engages your list or engages with you through your list. So you know how sometimes you'd be up at 2 a.m. in the morning and you'd be watching some George Carlin, stand-up video. I mean, everybody does that, I think, not just me. And you get hit with a YouTube ad by some guy in a Corvette that brags about all this money he's been making with Facebook ads or something like that, and basically says, come in, I'll give you free training how to turn every second Facebook visitor on your fan page to a customer that gives you $1,000 or something outrageous like that. And so you click on his link and you go to his website and he says, give me your email, give him your email. And then he says, okay, I just dropped you the link right in the inbox. But before you go, check out this awesome webinar because this awesome webinar is going to sell you something. And so obviously you don't want to go on a webinar right now. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. You just don't have the time for that. And you're like in bed, one eye shut, one eye still kind of operating. So you go to your inbox and you realize that now it will be too time consuming, too difficult for you to actually go through the training that he gave you. So what you do is you kind of leave it for later. And, later never comes, does it? I mean, you sort of say, okay, I'll do it tomorrow morning. But in the morning, you start checking your email, some other thing catches your attention. Or you get a call from your father who wants for you to drive him to Tel Aviv to a hospital or something. So you get distracted. So later that day, you check your email again, and you say, okay, maybe I'll get the training now. But then once again, something else catches your attention. All of a sudden, you're not checking it out for the next 3 days because you get distracted or lazy or both. And before you know it, all of a sudden it's not relevant anymore. You kind of moved on. Like there was no pressure in your life for you to actually get that training, go through it and solve some kind of a problem. You just did it out of pure curiosity because, at the time that ad hit you, you weren't like purposeful about solving a problem. You were kind of just chilling and it distracted you from being, lazy. So now, 5 days or 7 days later, you've gotten 7, 10 emails from this person, and he sends you 5 reminders about you not getting on the webinar. And before you know it, it gets overwhelming. All of a sudden, you don't want to read their emails at all. Because the more they pile up in your inbox, the least likely or the less likely you are to start going through them. And that is why a lot of the times we build a list that's supposed to be full of prospects that are interested in whatever it is that we're selling. And let's face it, someone like me would be interested in finding out how they can turn their Facebook fans into sales because I got, a couple of thousand or maybe 1,500 or 1,300 or something like that. So, why not, right? Even me. Even somebody who doesn't do much Facebook, nowadays anyway. But it's just, it gets overwhelming, it gets heavy, life gets busy, and all of a sudden you moved on. And now you're a quote unquote water. You're a dead subscriber on this guy's list, even though his marketing is kind of professional, and even though he's a cool dude and you like him, even though you trust him to be telling the truth, it's just, right now, it's just not the ideal time. So all of a sudden you become one of those people on that person's list that gets the emails but never opens them. And that seems to be a very common experience for marketers out there who build a list, isn't it?
Yeah. So I have a question that hopefully doesn't derail you. What the hell are you doing up at 3 a.m.?
Honestly, well, as a father, you'd understand, right? So in the morning, you kind of do your work. In the afternoon, you spend this time with the family. And the only real alone time you get with your wife is when your child is asleep, is in bed, right? Tucked in. So for me, that's about 9:30, 10 p.m. or so, because she's 5 now, almost 5. And after that, so there's now the alone time with your wife. So you watch TV shows maybe together, or maybe you do whatever, go out, maybe call in the mother-in-law to come in and watch the kid while
Really?
you take her out for sushi. Yeah, I mean, why not?
Wow.
And and then you come back home, she goes to bed, okay, and you end up staying up late watching George Carlin stand-up videos.
Yeah, now
because
I have a follow-up for that. What time do you start your day, dude? If you're up at 3 in the morning, what time do you start? Like 12 in the afternoon?
It's funny. It's funny you asked that because for the last 2 weeks I've been carefully watching when I wake up, and I wake up every single day at about 7:06 a.m. Like my wife starts to try and wake me up around 6:50, 6:55, but I always wake up at 7:06. It's when I get out of bed. So that's my time, 7:06.
Follow-up question there. You say your wife, you're like, this is taking me way off track. Listen.
Yeah.
No. Follow-up question, and then I'll leave it alone. So why is she trying to wake you up? And what is she doing to try to wake you up?
Well, she's just she's kicking me, sort of. She's like, "Get up! I'm cooking breakfast. Get up already!" And I mean, that's as far as she goes. And then she kind of says, "If you don't wake up now, I tried. It's your fault." because I used to get angry with her for not waking me up on time back when we were just dating. And I would be like, "No, you have to wake me up because I don't do alarm clocks. Like, you have to wake me up and make sure I'm up by 7:15 or 7:10." And she's like, "No, but I try. And you told me that, you don't want to wake up, so I left." And I'm like, "No, you should listen to me when I'm sleepy. It's not the same person."
Little trip down Igor Lane, because I wanted to know about your morning ritual, but we'll do that another time. So, all right. So you're you're messing around watching George Carlin. You're not really in serious business mode, but this ad catches your attention. You opt in and then you ignore it. So why not just block everybody that tries to get on your list at 3 a.m.?
Well, because that could be a person, right, that is Googling your stuff at 3 a.m. and they're focused, about fixing a problem. Like we spoke about this in one of the previous episodes, how, like, if somebody is Googling your name, they are coming in to buy most of the time, unless they're trying to check out if you're a scam, right? But if you're just distracting them from watching YouTube videos or browsing through their Facebook newsfeed, which is a place where people go to escape making decisions, then you get their contact details, you get their attention for 2 seconds, but to retain that attention, it's a really difficult task.
Now, what's interesting to me is that you're a guy who pounds people with email. You've said it on the show before. When they first sign up, you will hit them 2 times a day, 3 times a day, whatever it takes. So does that actually turn off your prospects, or does it convert them? Why do you do it that way?
Why would I email my list several times a day? Well, for one, because I'm good at emailing. And I know that as long as I can come up with an excuse to email them about something they're interested in, I will be okay. Now, some people do have a problem with getting 2 emails per day from me. And if that's the case, they just tell me about it or unsubscribe. That's cool. But most of the time, what I'm doing is I am so in their face, and I'm so good at it too, that whatever happened, I just end up, kind of plowing through the clutter, if you will. Now, the secret to that, by the way, is to remain really, really relevant to what's going on in their life. Like the number one technique that I can ever share with you as far as standing out in a really crowded inbox or getting attention of a prospect who's just distracted with a ton of different type of bullshit is to feed back to the prospect exactly what's going on in their life right now. Because as soon as they hear that, as soon as you talk about their problems that they're going through right now, they are willing to stop everything, to tune everything else out, and to listen to you, because if there's one thing that we are all interested in, it's solving our own problems, no matter how small these problems are.
So how did they get there, Igor? Because you talked about the guy that was doing the Facebook ads training, whatever, off the YouTube video. You didn't want to watch his webinar at 3 a.m., so you saved it for later. And then he starts emailing you, and you said the email piles up and it starts to overwhelm you, which actually pushes you away. And so how do you work with that? I mean, was he not a good marketer like you? Was he not talking to your problems?
Well, he is a good marketer, absolutely. And he obviously spends a lot of time on video marketing, because that seems to be his strongest forte. But to be honest with you, the reason I am not responding to his ads so far is because he's not 100% relevant to what I want to achieve. If he was, and if he was marketing in a really relevant way, then he would keep getting my attention, because the ad that got my attention spoke about a problem that I faced recently that I wanted to solve. Specifically, that was a problem when I was sharing with you and the listeners about the Facebook ads thing, right? I was really vigorously testing Facebook ads, trying to see how I can get more clients for my agency using Facebook ads, even though I don't like Facebook ads, but I admit to the fact that a lot of my customers are hanging out on Facebook. So why not? Like, I'll try, right? And so, the problem I ran into is that Facebook applications or Facebook leads were really, really cold, uneducated, skeptical, kind of barking back at Dennis for some reason, like really being just really difficult and impatient. And this guy's ad was all about, watch me get on Facebook and have somebody I never spoke to before give me $1,000 by the end of the day, or something like that. And so it all came down to him showing, and I watched, like, I kind of speed through the training, like using the player, right? So he showed how he's basically getting somebody to respond to an ad by messaging him. Then he gets that person on the phone, and he got on the phone on video, and he made him a no-brainer proposition. Let me do something for you for free, and if it works, you pay me $1,000. And he did it. And it worked, and he got $1,000, whatever. So he basically said, let me work for you for free and prove to you that I'm awesome, and you pay me later. Now, incidentally, I'm never going to do that. You know why? Because my product isn't my time. My product is actual traffic, and it has hard costs.
Right.
Exactly. So we're not talking about, sending somebody 10 clicks or something like that. We're talking about doing a full-blown campaign for someone, and that comes with a really high cost. So no longer relevant to me. If I was selling coaching, if I was selling consulting, I would consider taking on that sort of strategy. But even then, I wouldn't do it, probably simply because I've done coaching and consulting before. I sold it before, and I never had to work for free to prove to somebody that I'm worthy of their money, because that puts the prospect on the pedestal, not the kind of strategy I want to take on. Right. So even when I was getting 15 and, even to the tune of 50, I had a few clients who paid me 50 grand. I never had to do any work upfront for free for them. And that's just not the kind of business model that I want to build on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to prove anything to anyone at this point. But of course, if you're brand new, maybe that's a good tactic to follow. My point is this. I failed to continue to consume his marketing simply because from that point forward, it was no longer relevant, and I got too lazy about consuming it in the first place. Now, the reason I know what his marketing is all about is, again, because at 2 a.m. in the morning, I literally set the player to double the speed, and then I started kind of going, like, fast-forwarding a minute here, 2 minutes there, and I kind of went through it real fast. And then, he, of course, promised to give something else in addition to that, but then there was a timer that was ticking down from, like, 45 minutes, and I didn't wait for that. So my point is that if you see that people stop responding to your emails, like if they open the first email and then what starts happening next is they don't respond at all. So there's like a spike at first and then it just goes down like that abruptly, then you're not relevant and you need to change the content of your emails to be more relevant and more urgent for your prospects. Or maybe it's your offer. That is possible too. I actually just recently revamped my front-end offer for people who kind of apply to work with us and then they refuse to take action in the first X days, right? I created an offer that was a true no-brainer Didn't require for me to work for free or anything like that, but made a really sweet offer. It's a brand new one, and it was targeted directly to the people that kind of reached out to us, but then got cold. Because believe it or not, we don't convert everybody. Like as much as I want to, as much as I want to pretend to be the god of conversions or whatever, like it's not true. On average, we convert about 1 out of 10 people that reach out to us
for the VIP,
and that doesn't sound like much. No, just for the regular traffic, because a lot of people that are reaching out to us are really, really cold. So, by redeveloping the offer, we were able to get it from 1 to 3 out of 10. So now, we're getting somewhere. Now, of course, there are traffic sources or, I would say like sources from where we're getting clients. Like if it's somebody used us and then they say to their friend, go use Igor. I mean, that's not going to be 1 out of 10. That's going to be not 9 out of 10. But if we're talking about cold traffic, which is really the difficult part, like nobody actually gets into this business and all of a sudden has people being referred to them, do they? Right? It just doesn't happen overnight. It happens after like 7 years probably. So you have to get good on getting those visitors cold. And so cold traffic, it's 1 out of 10. Now we got it up to 3 out of 10 simply by developing
huge.
a really sweet offer, that spoke to the prospect's needs. And let's face it, almost nobody does it. Almost nobody's willing to make any kind of changes to their email follow-up, to their front-end offer, to their back-end offer, to their like second chance offer. Nothing, even though it's common freaking sense, right? If you have a person coming into your store every single day for 10 days and they're not buying, aren't you going to at some point say, look, I know you're coming in every day and you're looking at this pork chop or whatever, and you're not buying it. So there's only 2 reasons why you're not buying it. Either you don't eat pork, but you kind of really want to give in and eat pork, in which case I can't really help you. Or maybe you're not buying this pork chop because it's too expensive for you or something like that. Although I don't believe that people buy necessarily just on price, but let's just say for the sake of this simplicity, right? For the sake of simplicity, you're not buying it because it costs $50 and you don't have $50. So how much money do you have? Oh, I have $30. Okay, well, let me get you half of this pork chop so you can still get it, even though your budget is lower than what you need to have in order to get the full one. And most likely, if he's been coming in for 10 days, he's gonna say, you know what, sure, get me half for 30, no problem. I was just afraid to ask, or I didn't know you could do that. And you'd be surprised how many sales you could salvage just by getting creative about figuring out the reason why people don't buy from you right away. And most people don't spend any time whatsoever on this. They just want to get their affiliate link, and you just want to send people that link and for those people to buy whatever they're selling. And that's what they call a business, which of course it isn't, just a funnel.
So I've got one more question for you because I know we're coming close to the end of this one. You said that people don't go in and find out why folks aren't buying. And how do you do that, Igor? Do you just guess and just start throwing different offers at them? Do you talk to people? What's the process for you?
Well, it really depends on who you are. If you're a people person and you love talking to people, I would recommend interviewing people on your list, offering like free consultations during which you'd be asking questions and they will be sharing all kinds of different, concerns and fears and goals. And, that would be really, really sweet if you could do that. Now, I just have a lot of experience. Right. So I understand the market. I am very intimate with my market. If you're brand new, you could just test new offers, literally just throw offers together, completely outrageous offers, with all different kinds of angles and different types of components and see what works. I accidentally discovered actually most recently, we built an offer that is now becoming a flagship offer that was pure luck. Because I said, you know what, we never tried this. Let's try to putting this offer together like so and test it out. So we put it together. It took us 2 days. We mailed it out. All of a sudden, great success, right? And we incorporate that offer into our funnels, and all of a sudden, it's making money. People are wanting to buy, and it's not an angle we have tried in the last 3 years. We just did not try it. Not that we didn't know it existed. We just never tried it. So try new things, be cool with failing, and be cool with maybe looking stupid to your market, although that's very unlikely. if you're just working on making them a really sweet offer that they would want to say yes to, definitely consult experts in your industry. Like if you can find somebody who's been in the industry for a long time, and especially in the industry with relation to the market you're trying to sell to, you could always consult them and see if they can shed some light on what are these people buying. Because as much as it's relevant and useful to interview your market, your target market can't always be precise about why they buy certain things and why they don't. Like a lot of people, one of the first reasons they say why they don't buy something is price. But that's not true. That's not true. That's not true at all. We buy based on comfort, quality, convenience, prestige. We are always willing to give money in exchange for buying more time, even if we don't have much money, So it's not always about the money, but most people, the first thing they say is the money, which again, just not true. I mean, why would somebody not ride on Uber if it's super cheap? They have their own reasons. It's definitely not the money, but they'll tell you, oh, why would I pay money? Whatever. So anyway, yeah, there's no definite way to do it. Talk to people in your market, get intimate, read books by marketing leaders in your community. Dan Kennedy, I mean, he's really good at this stuff. Like he has written dozens and dozens of books. And if you're like in the restaurant business or in the information marketing business or in the seminar business, like you can just read his book and get all these details just like that. You don't even need to talk to anybody because he already figured it out. So, yeah, no easy way as usual. But now at least, at the very least, right now, you know where you need to be headed.
All right, that sounds good. I think that's our time for today. So that is a wrap for another episode of the List Building Lifestyle Show. We'll be back in your earbuds next time. Thank you, Igor, and thank you, List Builders, for tuning in.
Thank you for listening to the List Building Lifestyle. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to never miss an episode. Because who knows, just one conversion tactic we share on the show might double your list and double your business. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. And don't forget to claim your complimentary copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. This is Igor Kheifets, and until next time we talk, have a good one.
This is the podcastfactory.com.